Welcome in the studio. Today, my guests are two lecturers from the Liberal Arts and Sciences program at University College Tilburg. David Janssens is a philosopher and a classicist. Michiel Bot has expertise in the field of law, literature and critical theory. They are both team teaching a course, which means that they are in front of the classroom together. The course is called Imagining Justice and introduces first-year students to the fields of law and humanities. In this course, they dedicate an entire lecture to the concept of failure. Michiel, what comes to mind when you think of the concept of failure?
A lot, I suppose, but I was just thinking about this article I saw on my Facebook newsfeed in the past week about this PhD student who defended her dissertation while wearing a skirt that she made herself out of the many rejection letters that she had received applying for fellowships and jobs. And she said in an interview that she did that in order to normalize failure. Mm-hmm. And at first I thought that was very interesting to normalize failure, and then on second thought I thought it is perhaps more important to actually denormalize failure and not to, the fact she wrote so many applications and fellowships and she got so many rejection letters, perhaps we should criticize the way the academic job market is organized rather than normalizing this process of having to receive so many rejection letters. Mm-hmm. So basically I would think, and that's what we're trying to do in the course also, that we need to critically interrogate the role of failure in today's society, along with the role of success, of course.
Good. David, now how does this perception of failure, how does that translate into your specific course?
Right. Well, the course is actually, it's built up on a very basic opposition between two worldviews. You could say the modern worldview and a more pre-modern worldview. Modern worldview is very much associated with the philosopher Hobbes, Thomas Hobbes, and his world is basically a world of solitary individuals competing for scarce resources. That's basically the idea. And in Hobbes' idea, that's very much a situation that leads to conflict, and the idea is that you need to somehow resolve this conflict by imposing an order. And actually any order will do, because any order is better than no order. So that's very much the Hobbesian worldview, which I think to a large extent is also our worldview, the liberal worldview. And in the course we actually contrast that with the earlier worldview, which is the Aristotelian worldview, based on the philosopher Aristotle. Aristotle's world is a world where humans are not solitary individuals, but are social animals or political animals who can only do what they do, only be human to the extent that they work together, that they communicate, collaborate, interact with each other, and that together they also try to give shape to a good society, a good order. And I think that's kind of what we do in the course, is try to contrast these two worldviews. And what struck me about Michiel's example is that the way that this case is presented, the young lady sort of showing herself as a resilient individual in the face of adversity, from a Hobbesian point of view, it looks very interesting, but it also detracts or draws our attention away from the more systemic problem, which is that maybe the whole system within which she is applying for jobs, etc., is actually failing. It's not a personal failure to get rejected, but maybe the whole system is actually failing. And I guess from a Hobbesian point of view, it's very hard to raise that question because you start from a very individual point of view. And I think what we try also in the course is to show that if you look at it from a more Aristotelian point of view, different things become important, different things become relevant. For example, why would you think of science as a competition between individuals for, let's say, jobs, money, prestige, etc., and not look at science as a very collaborative endeavor in which success and failure are much more on a level of the collective and not on an individual level. So that's how the two problems, I think, fit together.
Okay, thank you. Michiel, to sum up, what do students take home when they have completed your lecture on failure in your course?
Hopefully they will have learned to take a broad critical and historical view of any ideology they're confronted with, including an ideology of success, primarily of course, but also really questioning the role of failure in today's society. Some banks are too big to fail. What does that mean? And what can we, not just individually, but together with other students, with other citizens do to confront these challenges.
Okay, thank you both for sharing your reflections. On the project webpage, you can find more information about the content of this specific lecture and about the content of our academic and interdisciplinary module on failure.